and it's been, the editors of those high-impact journals have talked for over 20 years, ex-editors, not current editors. When they leave, they all report that you can't really believe what's in the high-impact medical journals because there's so much pharmaceutical industry influence over what they publish and what they don't publish. And it's through that control that they do disinformation. And the four ways in which they do it. Number one, they reject studies, and basically disinformation are tactics that industries use when science emerges that is inconvenient to their interests. And they are really good at controlling science. And that's the point of what I wanted to tell you about, is I've learned a lot, and now it's almost an area of expertise. I'm studying the corruption and how it plays out, and I really think the foundation is really at the core and it's the heart. And it's really those big journals, because those journals can do two things. They can drive headlines. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of journals, but there's only a handful that drive the headlines immediately. And the pharmaceutical industry, they're fairly clever and sinister and malevolent and all those other things that we talked about. They're really criminal. They've figured that out long ago, and they've exerted control at that level, and they can get people to believe strange things. And the things that I see infect, and the ideas I see that got infected across the world, the whole world's doctors being taught that natural immunity is not a thing, that you just had COVID, but come over here so I can give you a vaccine. You guys realize that's completely insane, right? So, but yet you have the entire world's doctor, not saying the entire, but the vast majority doing really strange things. And they do that through science, through the corruption of science. And you know, the papers that, if you look at Richard's talk and Jessica's talk, there are a couple of papers that'll slip into a few journals with very alarming data, but then you have another source of censorship and propaganda, which is, like I said, it doesn't drive headlines. It gets ignored, it's not in review papers. When you see like reviews published in some of these journals, they, you know, curiously, they'll leave out mention of that more disturbing data. And so it's really an attack. It's a constant attack on the science that threatens them. So basically what I've seen is nothing but unrelenting censorship and propaganda over all positive data of repurposed safe drugs. So they got the world to believe that hydroxychloroquine doesn't work and ivermectin is a horse dewormer. You know, and so all I've seen is I've seen societies across the world, just the masses have been consumed with very strange ideas about what's really going on. And when you really know what's going on, it's very stressful. That's an understatement for what that is. It's very distressing, really, and it doesn't cease. And I keep thinking it's getting better. I think we keep talking about tomorrow, next week, right? It's going to blow open, Richard, and the truth will come marching down Main Street. We've been saying that for a year, and I don't think that's going to happen that way, but I do think with grassroots movements, a constant dedication fight for the truth, that, you know, good science, good physicians, good guidance, good health guidance you can reach more people and you can save them. And I would say people have never needed good, ethical, conflict of interest-free public health officials and physicians. They've never needed them more than now, and they haven't gotten that. You have public health systems across the world whose leaders literally are in the service of the pharmaceutical industry, because all of those agencies work a certain way. You do not get to become a leader unless you know how to play well with pharmaceuticals. So, you know, I don't want to reduce everything to the pharmaceutical industry, because who's really behind this and what their objectives are, I try to leave alone, but I will leave you with this. The way in which they've done it is they're using the tactics that the pharmaceutical industry has initiated and implemented and used to control vast swaths of the science and the public health agencies. And it's killing people like it's never done before. And they have killed many thousands. Many, many scandals. They pay their billions in fines and they walk on. This one, the scope and the scale is unprecedented in history, and we are in a massive humanitarian catastrophe, and there's two of them. We're not getting treated the right way to protect ourselves against this disease, and the vaccines are killing hundreds of thousands. It's going to be approaching millions soon. I'm sorry if that wasn't the most positive talk. That's what it is.
So I just want to take a moment. Most of you don't realize these two scientists have worked from the beginning together, but this is the first time that they're actually physically in the same place. So we're going to take a special moment for two of them to say hi.
Dr. Kory actually promised me a big hug when we met in person. So. I'd also like to just take a moment to remember, because I think we've all forgotten how it began. World Council for Health wouldn't exist, probably, and I'd probably still be working for the World Health Organization if I hadn't seen Dr. Pierre Kory's testimony to the United States Senate in December 2020, which took enormous bravery. And in fact, many of us woke up at that time and thought, what on earth is going on? So Dr. Kory is the seed for great change. He's the seed of the better way. And I just wanted to remind us all. Please give him a big hand of applause. Thank you.
So this is why we do this. It's very important for all of us to be together and to actually discuss these things in person. And now we're going to continue with Dr. Nasir.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation. Maria Moggs and the whole team make this possible to be here today to speak to Europe, to Asia, to Oceania, South America, North America, Central America, and Africa. I am part of a huge movement in Brazil called Médicos pela Vida, which is Doctors for Life. We started this March 2020, and there was a group now, it's almost 20,000 doctors working together, and this support us. Like me, I went to 72 public audience to present to the Congress, to the mayors, to the cities and the states. What's the dangerous experiment? Never happened in the world with the human body. So my field is neuroscience, so I'm gonna present to you one of the most dangerous things that these experimental product can make in our brains. Let's start it. So you guys know that this product's called vaccine is not vaccine. This is a genetic therapy. It's my field. So there's the experimental products that we have in Brazil. I think you guys know. So there's two types, I mean, more than two types. There's three types in Brazil. We call Coronavac, Sinovac from China, which is like a part of virus, inactivated. The adenovirus vector and mRNA. We don't have Moderna, actually, fortunately, too. So many things happen. These gene therapies are so different and goes to the place that we're not supposed to be, which is the central nervous systems. So you guys know this, I don't understand here, but nanoparticles, polyethylene glycol, and spike protein. That's the team that can make the brain and neurons so unhappy. And they're gonna show you. There's a lot of a risk of vaccines, clot disease, autoimmune disease, cancer disease, but it's not the point that, I mean, everyone here addressed it before me, very elegant in this pathology presentation yesterday and today. So this is not vaccines, but they have a special situation that it's very important to address. One of this is something that in Brazil happened a lot because we have Johnson & Johnson and we have AstraZeneca. Both, they have those sinus thrombosis. I have been working for 30 years in neurology in emergency rooms. And I can mention, like, I had an article actually published in this field with 15 cases. And In 12 years of studying patients with the huge ICU and ER, and just to watch these patients come and have this diagnosis, it's so rare. And then you start to find these patients like young people, health people, people who didn't have anything before, and then they have those, deadly conditions. So this is the vaccine that works. It's not what I want to show to you, because it takes a lot of time to discuss every point. So I have just 15 minutes. I'm going to be sharp this. So the way it is, formation of antibodies and by the spike protein. You make your cell make spike protein, and this spike protein, you have antibody against the spike protein that you yourself did. So what is this? This is an immunogenic platform. Now we have autoimmune disease. Is that right? Yeah, that thing works. So spike protein is very toxic. And why is it so toxic? Because that all the alterations that my colleagues here presented, that's because it transpass the blood-barrier, BBB, blood-barrier, and it goes inside the brain. It's very easy to spike to the nanoparticle, goes inside the hematological brain barrier. So this is important findings that it's hard to explain if you're not in medical field, right? But guess if you have, for instance, Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, ALS, and all kinds of situations that Professor Bhakti spoke today. He mentioned by the capillary thrombosis, but it's not only this. One of the major things that really worries us like a scientist, it's because they have a formation of a prion, PRP, prion protein. What is this? This is because the formation of spike protein you have in the spleen, and then you have like a kind of messaging formation, and goes inside the vagus nervus and through the central nervous system. So we have this problem. We have also the viral infections that you didn't see before. You have COVID, you have like herpes, you have facial palsy, Bell's palsy. Bell's palsy after vaccine, mRNA vaccine, it's a lot. Remember this in the trial of Moderna. I think all the patients had this Bell's palsy, but it's just, transient. But it's not only this. This is because you have the kind of infection NC, central nervous system or peripheral nervous system. And it can take longer. So prionic disease is a disease that we heard. Calmette disease is the prionic disease, right? Creutzfeldt-Jakob in the human being is prionic disease. This is so dangerous. It's not one disease that you like to do that. In my clinic, before I did 2 biopsies in my life, and the patient had Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. This is years ago. We have to discard everything you use in the opera in war because it's so aggressive, this disease. You know, guys, this, because you have more here in Europe than we have in Brazil. So when you see this spongiform formation in the brain, this is the pathological view of prionic disease in central nervous system. But people just think about this, but it's not only Creutzfeldt-Jakob or called disease. It's a Huntington's disease, it's a Parkinson's disease, it's ALS. All this kind of disease became more frequent after this mRNA and DNA vaccination through the world. So, it's all now, I mean, all this depends of the situation of the germ cells and Parkinson's disease. We don't have this Parkinson's disease in young people so often. You don't see this Huntington's disease like, oh, it's very frequent in my clinic. It's not. Huntington's disease is a rare disease, even if you have a very busy neurological office. So it's now where we have all this way to the brain that we're now realized that you can infer very clear the relationship between PRP and those diseases that I mentioned here. And I cannot have time to, go deep. But the thing I wanna point out to you guys, it's the S1 component of spike proteins appears after 1 day or less than that after mRNA vaccine, and becomes longer. Nobody can just say, oh, it's just 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, but it stays longer in the very target organs in our body. So children are by far most vaccinated generation in history. You guys know this. We have been fighting against COVID vaccination. 5, 11 years old, adolescents, and babies. We are fighting every day against this because the agenda likes to push this. It's absurd because those people, those children, they don't have anything about COVID, unless they are very immunosuppressed, but it's not common. It's real, a genocide. So, be very careful with these vaccines. With an adequate evaluation and aggressively promoted and uniformly public with the potential for huge and irreversible consequences. One of them is depletion of progenitor B cells in the bone marrow, causing ability to assemble new antibodies to infection agents. Both mRNA and vector viral DNA may be a path to disabling disease of this future time, but the prior-like action of spike protein. We will see an alarm number of various neurodegenerative disease with Parkinson's, Creutzfeldt, ALS, Alzheimer's, and other in young people. Unfortunately, you'll not be sad that was the vaccine, convenient for the forms that gain in the vaccine and the treatment of the same disease. All right, so there's some part of the side effects, and I have to say that he died. He passed away in the last 3 months, and before that, he helped me a lot to represent in front of the WHO, OPS in Brazil, and the Ministry of Health. Everything he did for me, it's a real master. And Professor Luc Montagnier, he said that the unvaccinated will save humanity. We must avoid hearing and giving voice to those who do not have the right to do so, and let the science speak. I repeat, it's the unvaccinated who saved humanity. So this picture says everything. I can tell you, nobody can face this in your kids. Any central nervous system disease like this, nobody can face this. I have a father who came to me, he called me one day, and he said, Dr. Nasser, help me. I don't know what I can do. I'm gonna make a suicide. Because last week, I watched the TV, the journal, and it said, go and take the vaccination for your kid because he's gonna have a scholarship in a public school. And he took because he was like off money. And then 3 days after the Pfizer, this kid had a seizure. He had a huge thrombosis. He had the MTFR positive with nobody cares before gene. So the baby's dead. The father's dead. So this is the paper that everybody can, pick it up. The Stefan Seneff, which is unbelievable. She's a so nice person. She's an MIT person. It's like a high level of a scientist. And she got the same as everyone here of us have every day shadow banning in the media stream, in the social media. We have YouTube channel canceled. We have Instagram canceled. We are canceled. We are censored. That's because we follow Luc Montagnier advices. Get Van der Bosch advice. You cannot publish your picture with Dr. Malone and yourself. Facebook cancel you right away. So this is his speech, and I used this in Senate in Brazil. So here's the paper. It's the paper of the last paper Professor Luc Montagnier published, 16 cases of Creutzfeldt-Jakob in French and Switzerland. So after COVID vaccine jabs. So my final alert is prophylaxis should be done until the baseline returns to normal. Use ivermectin, use hydroxychloroquine, use treatment. You are doctors. As long as we don't have herd immunity established, prophylaxis we need to be maintained and replete every 6 months. There is no way to take pressure of infectivity without taking the immunopressure. It's highly vaccinated countries. It rather start with the virus than start with the people. When you eliminate those that cause immunopressure, everything goes back to normal. How they are doing is leaving the people who inevitably die. Nature will bring balance to the ecosystem. Countries with a low vaccination rate will survive, type South Africa. That's why this experiment is unpredictable. The damage will be massive. All age were victims of the experiment that was to protect only the vulnerable. Remember that. Should never be ordered vaccination, but debate warranty. Thank you so much.
Our last panelist, Dr. Paul Alexander, is having a family emergency, so he will not be able to join us via Zoom. But I just want to close this panel with a few words. Thank you, Austria, for having us. Thank you, Dr. Maria Hubmer-Moog, for everything she has done. It's my honor to be a part of this amazing community. There are physicians, scientists, common people, lawyers who have joined this community of people. There are many organizations that we really need to thank. And I'm going to start with my home organization, World Council for Health, and everything they have done behind the scenes. With FLCCC, who has fought this fight from the beginning. With Global COVID Summit, my American organization. With Médicos per la Vida, our brothers and sisters in Brazil. Médicos per la Verità, with Dr. Natalia Prego. With many, many organizations all around the world. It is not easy sometimes to be up here, but this is where we have to be at this moment in our life. And I'm just going to read a few words of a Global COVID Summit declaration, because we must restore the people's trust in medicine, which begins with free and open dialogue between physicians and medical scientists. We must restore medical rights and patient autonomy. This includes the foundational principle of the sacred doctor-patient relationship. And we declare, and the data confirms, that the COVID-19 experimental genetic therapy injections must end. Thank you.
We're behind on time, so we're not going to have a panel.
Thank you again, dear Kat Lindley, also a steering committee member of World Council for Health. We said it's just beautiful when we have the opportunity to do a Better Way conference again, and we said that we are able to have our steering committee members as hosts for the panels, and me as the Austrian and my friend Christoph Klote as the German hosts who welcome you and who will say in the end of the evening some remarks and closing words. And it's just beautiful that all of the steering committee members are here to host different panels. And I hope that all the steering committee members are right now in this room. I'm just not seeing Mark Trozzi. I hope Mark Trozzi is here. Probably anyone can look for Mark Trozzi. His son is going to get him. Because today we also celebrate something. And so for everybody in this room and for everybody who is joining us online in the live stream, it's a special day today that we also want to take as an opportunity to celebrate a very special date. It's not really this day that is a birth date, but it was September 2021 that the World Council for Health was founded by Dr. Tess Lawrie and Dr. Jennifer Hibbert. And also, please stand up, Tess Lawrie. Jennifer Hibbert, I hope she's also, yes, she is here. And there are also two other members, Dr. Tracy Chandler from New Zealand, and also Dr. Karen McKenna. She's not a doctor, but she is very engaged in health and helping to find new ways. They are not here, but so a couple of people formed the World Council for Health, but very soon this World Council for Health family was getting bigger and bigger. Shabnam Palesa Mohammed joined, also Dr. Kat Lindley, also Dr. Mark Trozzi. I hope his son found him. Otherwise, we asked Rain Trozzi for now to come on stage on behalf of his father, because Rain Trozzi, by the way, Dr. Mark Trozzi's son, he is in the World Council for Health Youth Committee. So if there are young people listening to me right now, we have a World Council for Health Youth Committee. You can send us an email on the contact email address that we have on the worldcouncilforhealth.org webpage, because it's so important that we also reach out to the young generation, and that the young generation comes up with ideas and brings in their inspiration and bring in their ideas, which is so important, because sometimes we are, a little older and we just don't know how to probably deliver the message so that also young people understand what we want to tell them. Hey, Mark Trozzi is doing a sprint. I also have to say that what I do right now is kind of a surprising moment. And I was not telling the steering committee members that I was going to bring them on stage now, so it's like ultra last minute. And here is Christoph Klote. We were just doing an interview, so we also ran over to come here. Christoph Klote is my dear friend here from Germany, And we have something that we want to bring up now. I don't know if we can deliver it right now, otherwise we will do it in the end after the last panel, because I think if there is a birthday, there should be a birthday cake. And a birthday cake is something that we should better eat when we have a coffee break. So we will bring after this next panel a lovely birthday cake. And I invite you all to come then, when we have the birthday cake delivered, to sing along with us a happy birthday for the World Council for Health. So just that you will be prepared. And we really want to thank all the members of the subcommittees of the World Council for Health. Please, a big applause. We have a Law and Activism Committee, we have a Mind Health Committee, we have a Health and Humanity Committee, yes, Bioethics Committee. We have so many subcommittees, and steering committee members are joining these committees. We have the Media Committee, which Uwe Alschner and I are chairing. So we have lots of committees, lots of people involved, and of course we have beautiful, beautiful people who make this all happen. That, like Zoe Strickland and her little baby here in her belly. Actually, at the first Better Way conference, Tess Laurie said that Zoe Strickland is somehow the midwife of the Better Way, because she was doing so much hard work that we can have World Council for Health as it is right now. And also a big, big thank you to Emma Sron, who is here from America. She's our, let's say, content manager. She's doing so much work, and it's just, here she is. I was like, where is she, sorry. Okay, so here's Emma Sron. She's like fantastic. She also so many different things on such a high level. Thank you so much. Like the live stream, for example. These two ladies make it possible. Thank you to all of the other people that I did not mention now that I forgot. I'm sorry for that, but in World Council for Health, there are so many beautiful people working. And we also ask you, if you want to voluntarily join the World Council for Health, and if you want to help to spread the word, so we can find a better way together. And as we are finding it, we want to invite so many more people to come and join us on this beautiful path, on this powerful path. And now I want to hand over the microphone to Jennifer Hibbert.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all your lovely words. And we want to thank all of you for joining us and being part of our family of the World Council. When we conceived of developing and forming the World Council, it's amazing. It's been a year, and it's amazing. Oh, there, that made a difference. Thank you, everybody, for joining our family of the World Council. And as we conceived of developing and forming the World Council a year ago, we are just so happy to have so many people a part of this. We have a wonderful steering committee here, and we are growing constantly by the day. And it's only with your support and with your innovative understanding of what's going on, and we want to help you and help each other get the right message out to the world. And just like our next forum will be Mind Health, and a lot of it is in how we communicate with each other. We may have a lot of difficult information to put out there, but please remember to always communicate it with a really positive message. And we're all learning about what's going on and what's coming, and we're all trying to anticipate, but actually we're all finding our way forward together, and we will find a better way forward together for a better world. And thank you so much for being here, everybody. Thank you.
Happy birthday, World Council for Health. Let's celebrate. So I think everybody in the audience knows how to sing Happy Birthday. So I'd say I pass the microphone to someone who can sing better than I can. And yeah, you just I just, you know, move my lips and you say.
All right, well, you guys gotta help me, okay? So, I guess it'll be happy birthday, world. There we go, now we're visiting. This is what's a good key.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, World
Council for Health.
Happy birthday to you.
Well, I'm speechless, actually. Well, you know, I think we all just, the time has gone so quickly. A year has passed like that, and I think everyone has felt the speeding up of time. And it certainly feels like just yesterday when we were established, and yet we've achieved so much with your help. And so, you know, that, along with just a big thank you to Maria for everything. I mean, remembering its birthday time as well as organizing all of this and this most beautiful conference. And, you know, I think I am speechless, and just to say, you know, thank you all for coming and contributing and showing up with us today, especially since it's our birthday. Thank you.
Okay, so Jennifer Hibbert will stay with me because she is the host of the next panel. Before we start the next panel, and Jennifer Hibbert is going to ask the speakers for the next panel to come on stage, I really want to let you know that I know it's really windy, almost stormy outside, and really cold in Vienna. And you probably know that we are giving the live stream for free. People don't have to pay to watch the experts on stage right now. And I said that already yesterday in the media conference. It's really not so easy to ask people for money, but I really need to do this because my organization, wir zeigen unser Gesicht, we show our faces, meaning we take a stand. We put this whole thing together. As you can imagine, we have to pay for the location, for security, and for the stage, for the tech team, and for so many other things to make a thing like this happen. And so I'm having a non-profit organization, and I can just say, all the things that we need to pay for will be paid for, and if there is something that is too much on the bank account later after this conference, all the money will go to World Council for Health later. So this World Council for Health has also a mission, a worldwide mission to help people around the world and to make great projects happen. So please, this is really a call for action for all of us. So people who like to go on the streets, for example, in Austria, when I organized over a dozen peaceful rallies, and all of the people who liked the way my friend Nadia Hupman, who is not here today, but she is a brave mother of 2 boys. She and we did so many rallies, and we just said if just every person who liked the way we did the rallies by not just saying resistance, but by bringing great content on stage, by inviting people, vaccinated or unvaccinated, to join us for so many important topics, not just the COVID, not just the Corona topic, now even more than ever, also the topic of the economic crisis in which we are in right now. We really just ask you for $1, for €1, for whatever you can give. Please support the mission, because then you are part of it and you make it happen as well. Thank you so much for your support from all around the world. On the wirzeigenunsergesicht.org webpage or on the betterwaymedia.org webpage, you will find the donation button. I kindly ask you to give whatever you can, and thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Let me add to this to everyone out there in the world, and especially here in Vienna, for everyone who is deciding to make a donation, 20 euros or more, there will be a wonderful shirt waiting for you to remind you of this wonderful event. It says Better Way Conference, and it has the Vienna skyline on it, and you can get it up there So 20 euros or more, any donation will be rewarded with a t-shirt either in white or in bright blue. So it's over there. Thank you very much.
Okay, this next forum is focused on the chaotic psychological effects of COVID-19, on how to strategically position to provide solutions for all of those affected by this dystopia. We have here a group of international experts to present effective communication strategies for guiding all of us to solutions we need to find a better way forward. I would like to welcome onto the stage Matt Hudson. He's on the stage. David Sherr-Lambos. Christian Buckland. And Majid Nawaz. And on Zoom, we have Michael Alexander. He will come at the end of our discussions here. Now, I'd like to introduce Matt Hudson. He's a published author, professional speaker, and a founder of the theory split-second unlearning. Matt believes the future for our health begins with education. And I'm going to make sure he introduces and talks about the book that he is completing now and an amazing app that you have to hear about. So now you're on the line, Matt. You have to talk about that.